How much in your life do you assume? And how many times has assumptions got you in a sticky spot? Not only in your relationship, with friends, with family, your professional life as well. We assume so much, and what's worse is half the time we don't even know we're assuming it. And you want to know why? Hang around and you'll find out. Hello, I'm Caterina Smillie and welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, it's great to have you. If you're returning, it's good to see you again. So assumptions. We're on the topic of assumptions and we're going to really discover why assumptions can impact our life. So much of our life. And you may not even be aware that a lot of the times you're assuming and you're not even consciously aware that you're assuming. How does that work? Okay, so let's first go to the definition, and for that I'm going to need my phone because I couldn't remember it verbatim and I wanted to read it exactly how it reads. 2 seconds. Okay, assumption. A thing that is accepted as true or is certain to happen. Without proof, they made certain assumptions about the market. So how much in your life do you assume you actually haven't asked for facts or you haven't asked for truth? Yeah? It happens so much in relationships. So much we take a certain, our partner's behavior and we go into assuming that we've done something wrong or they're not happy, they don't love us. We assume, we create this whole theatrical production just by maybe one thing they've said or maybe an action. And we allow ourselves and we buy, and what's worse, we buy into it. We buy into what this is saying. Why? Isn't it far easier to just go and sit with our partner and say, you know what, this is what's coming up, this is how I'm feeling, and ask for the feedback? Instead, some of you watching this may have been assuming some things for quite a few years. And still to date, you've not got clarity on it. You've not got the proof, right? Assumptions is believing something without proof. So what else in your life have you assumed, and maybe even for a long period of time, and it's impacting your emotional and mental balance, your overall well-being? And it's not even truth. Yet, you're comfortable continuously buying into that. Are you a person that likes to live in assumption land? And some of you may be living there that you're not even aware of. Our thoughts create what I say, our thoughts tell us a lot of lies. And a lot of the lies stem from assumptions. It stems from something that someone may have said. How many times have you gone and you've been in a conversation with a few people and something has been said and it triggered you and you've gone into and just assumed that they were speaking about you? Yeah? Or you've read something and it relates to you and you go, they're talking about me. I absolutely am going to put my hand up in the past. I've gone in and it's like I've gone in and feeling bad and I've gone, oh, they don't like me. And I've gone into all of these assumptions of something that I've read rather than just ask the question, was that about me? Why do we do that? Why do we do that? One of the core reasons is we don't have the confidence to ask that person. Because if it's not about us, we're going to look stupid. Or they're going to think, what? So rather than put ourselves into a vulnerable space where we can find the truth, we would much prefer to sit in the pain of assumption land and keep that story going on. How many of you have experienced that and and then when you finally maybe one day find the truth, you go, oh my gosh, I have allowed that to impact me for years. And assumptions can even go along the lines of the what ifs. How many times have you gone, what if this, what if that, what if this? That is pretty much assuming, right? Because it's not fact. There's no proof. Oh, what if... We go into assumption land. We buy into all the what ifs. It instills this fear, this debilitating fear in us. And we don't take action. How many of you gone for an interview and you're living in assumption land and going, I'm not going to get the job. No, they're not going to give me the job. And due to you living in assumption land, you step into that interview and you're like, blah, 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 blah. You know that you're the right person. Inside, you know you're the right person for that job. Yet, because you bought into assumption land, you've gone in there and you've just lost everything. Assumptions are a word that really does serve you to delete. Because when you don't use the word, you have less intention to assume. Yeah? And any time that I go to buy into assumption, I go, Kat, is that truth or is that what I'm thinking? Because for me, an assumption is a thought. It's a thinking. It's not even real. It's fluff. And I go, yeah, that's a thought. I don't feel that. I'm thinking that. So do I want to buy into that assumption? No. Delete. Now I want to give you another situation where if you're in a relationship, how many times has an assumption got you into trouble? Or how many times has an assumption got you thinking and you're feeling unloved and you've created this big story, and then your husband comes home and he speaks and you're like, oh, yeah, I allowed my thoughts to go off on a whole nother tangent and it's not even truth. Yeah? It's not even truth. How many things do you assume about your partner that have not got proof or are true? And it's holding you back from having that amazing relationship. We assume so much, yet some of us aren't even aware that it's an assumption. We haven't taken the time to look at what our thoughts are telling us and go, why am I thinking that? Is there any truth in that? Why? Assumptions is not a good behavior if you're a person who assumes. Really choose to become consciously aware of when you're assuming and delete it. And a great place to start is just by deleting the word. Yeah? And identify when this goes into assumption land. Ask yourself, do you have proof to support the story that you're telling yourself? No. Have I asked the person? No. I have two choices. I either clear this up and find out and get proof, or I approach the person. Actually, there's three. Or you can keep continuing and staying and living in assumption land. But let me ask you this. How is staying in assumption land serving you? Serving your overall well-being? How is it assisting you to be the best version of you? How is it assisting you to live your best authentic life? They're the things that matter most to you. And so do you choose to keep living in assumption land? Or are you going to really choose to be consciously aware and go, you know what, I'm not using that word anymore. I'm absolutely going to ask for what I want rather than assume everyone knows what I want. I'm going to use my voice. I'm going to get clarity. I'm going to get proof. And I'm going to choose not to allow my thoughts to take me out. And once we gain momentum, you're really going to feel so good because you're not going to have those thoughts that are lies endeavoring to take you out. So I hope that you gain something little from today. And I hope that you choose to delete assumptions out of your vocabulary. I hope you got value from today's video. And if you did, please like my video, subscribe to my channel, and also click on the notifications bell. I want to thank you for spending your time with me, as I absolutely respect your time is valuable. So thank you. Remember, you matter. You matter. You are your most valuable asset. So invest in you every day. Every day. So for today, take care.